classmates. My name is Ryan Stanley. I'm 22 years old. I graduated from East Carolina University a year ago with a psychology degree and a pre-med minor. I was on track to go to med school, applied to Brody, interviewed there, and was on the wait list. And my senior year, I started really questioning if that was what I wanted to do. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do instead, but I had this feeling like my interest just wasn't med school anymore. I actually heard back that I didn't make it into this year's class, and so I was really excited because I felt like it was my chance to think about other things. So I got a job, started working as a manager at the Painted Peacock, which is a paint-your-own pottery studio here in town. And while I was working there, I was really thinking about, what was it that I wanted out of med school? What were my interests? And I realized that counseling actually aligned perfectly with what it was that I wanted to do. And so I started in the grad school program this past spring, just completed my first semester. I'm a part of a cohort of 12 women, and we meet Tuesday nights. So a lot of us work full time and then have class in the evening. So anyways, I'm really excited to be in this program. I'm still working at Painted Peacock as a manager, and I was just recently got engaged in March, so I'm also planning a wedding. So it's a very busy and fun time for me. But about integrated health, why I think that integrated health is important for timely and effective care when it comes to the rural health community. So people in rural areas typically have to commute further to receive care. So integrated care only makes sense. It's efficient because they are receiving care for two different components, mental health and then physical health, but they're receiving it in one facility at one time. And I'm not talking about minimally integrated healthcare, but instead I'm talking about mid-level or full integration. So they get to receive care for their mental health and their physical health in one place. So not only is this efficient, but it's going to be cheaper for them financially, and they're not having to take off as much work. Since they're not taking off as much work, they're able to continue making the same amount of money that they were making. They're spending less money and less time seeking care at two different facilities. So to me, that shows that it's timely and it's effective. Also, the rate of no-shows is diminished when you're using integrated health care because they're receiving the same care from both providers at one place. It's also effective because the primary care physician and the behavioral health provider are communicating directly face-to-face in integrated health care, and so there's not, the communication is efficient, it's accurate, there's nothing lost in translation, the patient isn't having to explain to the behavioral health provider the type of health care that they received from their primary physician, vice versa. So it's just effective, it's timely, it's efficient, and overall it's just better. So why would why would healthcare in general be impeded if it was non-integrated in rural health areas? Well, kind of the opposite of everything I just said. So it's going to be more expensive if they're having to go seek mental health care at one facility and then primary care somewhere else. They're having to take off more work, so that's hurting their professional lives. Also, as we read, 50 to 90% of patients who need mental health care and are going to their primary care physician for it aren't utilizing their referrals, so they're not showing up to see their mental health providers, so they're not even receiving mental health care at all. So for this reason, obviously, their health care is impeded. Also, my last point I wanted to make is if they're not following through with these referrals, then they're going to continually present to their primary care provider with mental health concerns, and their primary care provider is going to try to do the best they can to treat those concerns, but if they're not utilizing the referrals that the primary care physicians are giving them, then they're not receiving effective or appropriate care for their mental health needs. So overall, the health care is just poor if it's not integrated. I hope that answers the question. I look forward to hearing from you guys and continuing to build our relationships throughout the semester. All right, thank you. Bye.